again for another movie review. Today I went out and saw the new Jason Statham action flick, Safe, and it stars Jason Statham, and yeah, that's really about it. Safe is the new action movie by Jason Statham, of course, and usually one comes out a year, well, this year being the exception because he's also in Expendables 2, but he's not the main star of that. There's a lot of people that star in that, but there's always one that stars him, and it's a vehicle for him, and this year it is Safe, and it's about a guy that's played by Statham who's a cop, ex-cop, and then he becomes a cage fighter, and then after he doesn't throw this game for the Russian mob, they kill his wife, and he becomes homeless, and they start, they keep an eye on him wherever he goes somehow, and his life is basically horrible until he sees this little Asian girl who's in trouble, and the mob wants her, the Korean mob, the Chinese mafia, the Russian mob wants her because she can memorize this really, really long code, and they don't know what the code is for, but Jason Statham is trying to protect her from all these various gangs in New York City. I went into Safe looking for what I do in all Jason Statham movies, is a fun action movie, just a popcorn flick, and there was occasional moments where I got that in Safe, but it never reached something as fun as Crank. There was some really inventive action in here. Like, there's a scene where Jason Statham takes the car of this cop, and him and the Asian girl, there's like a car chase that ensues, and you see all the action from the, the mirror in the car, the rear view mirror, and it's all shot in that, and there's a scene where there's a car crash with the Chinese mafia and the girl, and then there's a shootout, but it's also shot from the rear window, and it's really, really shot really cool, and it's pretty inventive. It's not shaky, and it definitely was something refreshing. There were some twists and turns here that you do not expect, and it wasn't as straight up as a Jason Statham action flick usually is. And there were some things I actually didn't see coming, and it led for some nice surprises. I just really like Jason Statham. He's not, the greatest actor. I don't think I don't think he could be, like, in a drama or anything. But as far as just a straight-up action star goes, the guy's always likable, he's always believable, and he always kicks ass. I just like seeing the guy work. Unfortunately, Safe, while it's not as bad as, something like The Mechanic, which came out last year and was probably my least favorite Jason Statham movie. This movie isn't horrible, but it's just really forgettable, and it's really just a wait for video unless you're a die-hard Statham fan. While I like the director, and I feel like he directs action very well, and the pacing was very good, the writing and the dialogue for some of the characters, especially the cops, there were some corrupt cops in this movie, some of them were pretty bad. I mean, I think it was mainly the actors, but they had to deliver some bad dialogue now and then also the people that they got to play the cops were awful. I mean, they look like Lifetime type actors. They'll have a scene of dialogue or some violence, but the dialogue is fine, but then they end it on like a really cheesy note, like a guy like screaming like, "Why are you doing this?" And then it cuts into the next scene, like one of those cheesy things, like a Streetcar Named Desire kind of thing, and it was just really cheesy, and it got a couple of chuckles out of the audience unintentionally. The movie is just ultimately really forgettable. It's one of Jason Statham's most forgettable movies. I really just forgot I saw it after I walked out of the theater. And I really just was like, well, that was kind of lame. There's really not that much of Statham and the girl, like, one-on-one, like, when there was him and her interacting. I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought they worked well off each other. It seemed genuine, but that's only, like, 30 minutes into the movie, and then the next 45 minutes, he's trying to get her, back. And I was like, well, there's not really any interaction between them that I was digging. Really needed more of that, and they kind of promised more of that in the trailer, but maybe, I think people are going to see this movie more for the action. I don't blame them, but, I still kind of like that. Safe isn't a terrible movie, it's just a forgettable one that has some decent twists and turns, and it's not thoroughly predictable. But it does have some really cool action sequences, and the action's not really shaky. Although whenever someone died in the movie, they seem to make this sound. So overall, I'm going to give Safe 2.5 stars out of 5. It's definitely one that you're probably going to want to wait when it comes out on DVD, unless you're a diehard Statham fan. So that's my review of Safe. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned next week for when the big movie comes out next week. And if you don't know what that is, you better find out. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.